replaced by exhaustion and a dull sense of going through the motions. For a long time, I brushed it off as just part of getting older, or the stress of daily life, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. I realized that I had been neglecting my health, both physically and mentally, for far too long. The wake-up call wasn't a dramatic event, it was just the quiet, undeniable truth staring back at me in my own reflection. That was the moment I decided to take back control of my life, starting with the small steps I had been avoiding.
It hit me when refers to a moment of sudden realization, understanding, or clarity that strikes with force, often changing how one views a situation. Monologue 1. It hit me when I saw the email with the final rejection. I'd spent months putting my heart and soul into that project, believing it was my big break. Each stage of the process built up my hopes, making me think I was so close to reaching my goal. But reading that last, curt message made it clear, it wasn't going to happen. At first, all I felt was disappointment, but then it hit me, this was just one setback, not the end. Success isn't a straight path, and maybe this was the push I needed to refine my approach and keep going. It was a painful realization, but one that gave me a renewed sense of determination. Monologue 2. It hit me when I walked into the family gathering and felt like a stranger among people I once knew so well. The laughter and conversations flowed easily around me, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed. I'd been so caught up in my own world, chasing ambitions and moving from one place to another, that I hadn't noticed how distant I'd become from those who used to be my foundation. In that moment, it hit me, while I was focused on building my future, I'd let the connections that mattered slip away. That realization was a bittersweet reminder that sometimes, in our pursuit of bigger dreams, we lose sight of the things that ground us. Monologue 3. It hit me when I was sitting in traffic, stuck in the same routine I'd been living for years. Day in and day out, the same commute, the same job, the same tasks. I had been on autopilot for so long that I didn't even notice how much life had become a series of repetitive motions. But as I sat there, staring at the endless line of cars, it suddenly hit me, I wasn't happy. I was comfortable, sure, but I was also stuck. That realization opened my eyes to the fact that I was living a life of complacency rather than chasing the dreams and passions that once set me on fire. It was the jolt I needed to start making real changes. It became glaringly obvious, describes a moment when something becomes so clear and unmistakable that it can no longer be overlooked or ignored. Monologue 1. It became glaringly obvious when I realized that I had been prioritizing everyone else's needs over my own for far too long. I'd convinced myself that being selfless was the right thing to do, that putting others first was what made me a good person. But as I sat alone one evening, drained and exhausted, it hit me how little of myself was left. The constant cycle of giving without replenishing had taken its toll. It was no longer just a subtle feeling of burnout, it was a full-blown depletion. That's when I knew I had to start setting boundaries and valuing my own well-being just as much as I did for others. Monologue 2. It became glaringly obvious when I noticed the growing distance between me and my old friends. The friendly texts became less frequent, the invitations fewer, and when we did catch up, it felt forced, like we were holding on to memories rather than creating new ones. I kept telling myself that life was just busy for all of us, but the truth was clear, we were growing apart. We were evolving into different people with different priorities, and no amount of nostalgia could bridge that gap. It was a painful realization, but it also gave me clarity on which relationships were still worth nurturing and which ones I needed to let go. Monologue 3. It became glaringly obvious when I finally took a hard look at my finances. For months, I had been brushing off the mounting debt and telling myself that everything would work out if I just kept pushing forward. But when I saw the numbers laid out in front of me, it was like a cold splash of reality. My spending habits were out of control, and ignoring the problem wasn't going to make it go away. The weight of financial stress that I had been carrying subtly in the background suddenly became impossible to overlook. That was the wake-up call I needed to change my habits and start taking responsibility for my future. A wave of joy washed over me describes an overwhelming feeling of happiness or contentment that suddenly and powerfully fills a person. Monologue 1. A wave of joy washed over me when I watched my little sister take her first steps. We had all been waiting for that moment, encouraging her day after day, but when it finally happened, it was even more magical than I imagined. Her wobbling steps were full of determination, and the look of pride on her face was contagious. In that instant, everything else melted away, and all I could feel was pure happiness. Seeing her reach that milestone reminded me how beautiful life's small victories can be, and it was a moment I'll treasure forever. Monologue 2. A wave of joy washed over me when I found out I'd been accepted into the program I'd been dreaming of for years. After months of hard work, late-night studying, and constant self-doubt, reading that acceptance letter felt like a reward for all the effort I'd poured in. It wasn't just about getting in, it was about proving to myself that I could reach this goal. In that moment, everything I'd been working toward crystallized into one powerful feeling of fulfillment. The happiness wasn't just in the achievement itself, but in knowing that persistence and belief in myself had paid off. Monologue 3. A wave of joy washed over me when I looked around at my closest friends, all gathered together for a celebration we'd planned for weeks. Life had kept us busy, and getting everyone in one place had felt almost impossible, but there we were, laughing, reminiscing, and enjoying each other's company as if no time had passed. The warmth, the laughter, the easy conversations, it was exactly what I needed. In that moment, I felt grateful for the bonds we share, and the joy of being surrounded by people who genuinely care about you filled me with a deep sense of contentment.
Here are 30 human stories. 1. Resilience. After losing his job, Mark felt as though his world had crumbled. Each rejection letter made him question his worth. But then he remembered the time he had faced a similar challenge in college. Back then, he had pushed through the difficulties, studied harder, and eventually succeeded. With renewed determination, he updated his resume, practiced his interview skills, and reminded himself that every setback was a setup for a comeback. 2. Kindness. On a rainy Tuesday, Emma was hurrying to work when she noticed a young man struggling with a broken umbrella. Despite being late, she decided to stop and offer him her spare one. They chatted briefly, and he revealed he was a student with a big presentation that day. Emma wished him luck and continued on her way. Later, she found out he aced his presentation and credited her simple act of kindness for lifting his spirits. 3. Courage. James had always been afraid of heights, but when his friends invited him to go rock climbing, he felt torn. The fear was real, but so was his desire to be part of their adventure. Remembering the courage he had shown when he spoke up for his beliefs in a heated debate, he decided to face his fear. With shaky legs but a determined heart, he climbed the wall and discovered that bravery often means pushing through your fears, not eliminating them. 4. Hope. In the aftermath of the storm, the neighborhood was devastated. Homes were damaged, and the streets were littered with debris. But Maria, despite the chaos, saw an opportunity for renewal. She organized a community cleanup and rallied her neighbors. Together they worked tirelessly to restore their homes and their spirit. Her hope was contagious, and slowly but surely, the community began to recover and rebuild, stronger than before. 5. Forgiveness. When Laura received an apology letter from her old friend, whom she hadn't spoken to in years, she was filled with mixed emotions. The hurt was still fresh, but she remembered how much their friendship had once meant to her. After reflecting on the advice to forgive not just for the other person, but for her own peace of mind, she wrote back, expressing her forgiveness and opening the door to rebuilding their connection. 6. Identity. As a teenager, Sarah often felt like she was living in the shadow of her older brother, who was a star athlete. she struggled to find her own path and felt overshadowed. However, when she discovered her passion for writing and began to excel in it, she realized that her worth wasn't defined by comparisons. Embracing her unique interests, she finally felt comfortable in her own skin, knowing that everyone has their own unique journey. 7. Why we need love in our lives. Love is one of the most powerful emotions. It connects us to others and gives our lives meaning. Love isn't just about romantic relationships. It's also about family, friends, and even our love for hobbies or passions. When we feel loved, we feel safe and valued. Love encourages us to be better and helps us get through tough times. Life can be challenging, but love makes everything feel a little easier and brighter. 8. The importance of self-care. Taking care of ourselves is not just about eating healthy or exercising. It's also about listening to our minds and emotions. Self-care means doing things that make us feel relaxed, happy, and balanced. It could be taking a walk in nature, reading a book, or just taking a break when we're stressed. When we take time for ourselves, we recharge our energy and feel ready to face the world again. Remember, self-care isn't selfish. It's necessary. 9. Dealing with change is a natural part of life, but it can be scary. We often feel nervous when something new happens, like moving to a new city or starting a new job. But change can also be exciting. It brings new opportunities and helps us grow. When we learn to accept change, we become more flexible and resilient. Life is always moving forward, and so should we. 10. The comfort of being understood. We all want to feel understood. It's a special feeling when someone listens to us and gets what we're saying. Being understood helps us feel valued and connected. It shows that we're not alone in our thoughts or feelings. True understanding happens when we listen to others with an open heart and mind. When we give that understanding to others, we create stronger and deeper relationships. 11. Facing challenges with courage. Life is full of challenges, big and small. It's easy to feel scared or want to give up when things get hard. But courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about facing our fears and taking action anyway. When we confront our challenges, we grow stronger and learn more about ourselves. Courage helps us move forward, even when the path is difficult. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity to become braver and better. 12. The beauty of kindness. Kindness is a simple act that can have a big impact. When we show kindness to others, we spread positivity and make the world a little brighter. Kind words, a helping hand, or a small gesture can change someone's day. Kindness doesn't cost anything, but it's worth so much. When we choose kindness, we create a ripple effect that reaches far beyond what we can see. 13. The feeling of belonging. Belonging is a deep need we all share. We want to feel part of something, whether it's a family, a community, or a group of friends. Belonging gives us a sense of security and identity. It's the feeling that we are accepted for who we are. When we find a place where we truly belong, we feel happier and more at peace. It's important to create spaces where others can also feel welcomed and valued. 14. Finding hope in difficult times. Life isn't always easy. We all go through tough times when we feel lost or overwhelmed. But even in dark moments, there is always hope. Hope is believing that things can get better, even if we can't see how right now. It gives us strength to keep going and face challenges with a positive attitude. Sometimes just holding on to hope can make all the difference. Remember, every storm eventually passes, and brighter days lie ahead. 15. The strength of forgiveness. Forgiving someone is one of the hardest things to do, especially when we've been hurt. But holding on to anger only makes us feel worse. Forgiveness is not about forgetting what happened. It's about letting go of the pain and finding peace. When we forgive, we free ourselves from negative feelings and allow room for healing. It takes strength to forgive, but it's also a powerful way to move forward and rebuild trust. 16. Learning to let go. Letting go can be difficult, whether it's letting go of a past mistake, a bad habit, or even a relationship. But holding on to things that no longer help us can weigh us down. When we learn to let go, we make space for new experiences and growth. It's a way of saying goodbye to what no longer serves us and welcoming new opportunities. Letting go doesn't mean we forget. It just means we choose to focus on the present and what lies ahead. 17. The value of trust in relationships. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship, whether it's with family, friends, or a partner. Without trust, it's hard to feel safe or comfortable with others. Trust means being honest, reliable, and open with the people we care about. It also means believing in others and giving them the benefit of the doubt. Building trust takes time, but it's worth it. When trust is present, relationships become deeper and more meaningful. 18. Why we all crave connection. As humans, we naturally seek connection with others. Whether it's through a conversation, a shared laugh, or simply spending time together, these connections make us feel alive. We crave connection because it reminds us that we are not alone. Being connected to others gives us a sense of belonging and purpose. It's in these connections that we find love, friendship, and understanding, all of which make life richer and more fulfilling. 22. Dealing with loneliness. Loneliness is something everyone experiences at times, even when surrounded by people. It's a feeling that we're disconnected from others or misunderstood. But loneliness can also be a chance to connect more deeply with ourselves. When we understand what makes us feel lonely, we can take steps to reach out, make new connections, or strengthen existing relationships. Remember, feeling lonely is a signal that we need more connection, and there's always a way to find it. 23. How love. Us love is a powerful force that can change how we see the world and ourselves. When we love someone, whether it's family, friends, or a partner, we often become more caring, patient, and understanding. Love pushes us to grow, to be kinder, and to think about others' needs. It helps us become the best versions of ourselves. Even when love brings challenges, it's through those experiences that we learn more about life and what really matters. 24. Why memories matter. Our memories shape who we are. They remind us of where we've been, what we've learned, and the people who have touched our lives. Some memories make us smile, while others teach us important lessons. Even difficult memories play a role in our growth. By remembering the past, we stay connected to our experiences and the people we've met along the way. Memories are like treasures that we carry with us, reminding us of the journey we've traveled. 25. Caring for others. Taking care of others is one of the most meaningful things we can do. Whether it's helping a friend in need, showing kindness to a stranger, or supporting a loved one, caring makes us feel more connected and fulfilled. When we care for others, we build stronger relationships and create a sense of community. Small acts of care and kindness can have a big impact, both on the people we help and on our own sense of purpose. 26. The impact of words on our feelings. Words have the power to lift us up or bring us down. A kind word can make someone's day, while a harsh one can cause pain. That's why it's important to choose our words carefully. When we speak with kindness and understanding, we build trust and positive relationships. Our words can heal, encourage, and inspire. Let's remember that what we say has a lasting effect, and we should always aim to use words that spread positivity. 27. Learning to accept yourself. We're all unique, with our own strengths and weaknesses. Learning to accept ourselves, just as we are, is key to feeling confident and happy. Self-acceptance means embracing our qualities, both the good and the ones we want to improve. It's about being kind to ourselves and understanding that we don't have to be perfect. When we accept ourselves, we feel more at peace and are better able to grow and reach our goals. 28. Finding joy in little things. Life can be busy and full of big goals, but sometimes the most joy comes from small moments. It could be enjoying a cup of tea, hearing your favorite song, or seeing a beautiful flower on your walk. These little things add up and bring happiness to our everyday lives. When we pay attention to these moments, we realize that joy doesn't have to be big. It's often found in the simple pleasures all around us. 29. Why we seek meaning in life. We all wonder about the purpose of our lives. Whether it's through work, relationships, or hobbies, we want to feel that what we do matters. Finding meaning gives us direction and helps us stay motivated. It's different for everyone. Some find meaning in helping others, while others find it in personal growth or creativity. Whatever it is, having a sense of purpose makes life feel more fulfilling and gives us a reason to keep moving forward. 30. The power of positive thinking. Our thoughts shape how we see the world. When we focus on the positive, we feel more confident, less stressed, and more hopeful. Positive thinking doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means believing that we can overcome them. By focusing on solutions and seeing challenges as opportunities, we create a mindset that helps us grow and succeed. The way we think can change our reality, so let's choose thoughts that lift us up and push us toward our goals.
It was a long time coming is used to describe something that has been anticipated or expected for a long time, often suggesting relief or satisfaction when it finally happens. Monologue 1. It was a long time coming, but after years of hard work and dedication, I finally walked across the stage to receive my degree. The pride and joy in that moment made every struggle worthwhile. And as I held that diploma, I knew I had achieved something truly meaningful. Monologue 2. It was a long time coming, but after countless setbacks and sleepless nights, we finally launched our small business. Seeing the open sign in the window was more than just a milestone. It was a dream realized, built on persistence and a belief that this day would eventually come. Monologue 3. It was a long time coming, but after years of missed opportunities and near misses, we finally booked that dream vacation. Standing on the beach, watching the sunset, I couldn't help but feel that all the waiting and planning made this moment even more special. It was a moment of clarity. Refers to an instance when someone suddenly understands a situation, gains insight, or realizes something important that changes their perspective. Monologue 1. It was a moment of clarity when I realized that I had been holding on to a dream that no longer served me. Letting go wasn't easy, but in that instant, I understood that moving forward meant embracing new opportunities instead of clinging to the past. Monologue 2. It was a moment of clarity when I saw the path I needed to take. I had been confused for so long, weighing every option and second-guessing every decision, but suddenly the right choice became crystal clear and I knew exactly what I had to do. Monologue 3. It was a moment of clarity when I finally understood that forgiveness wasn't for the other person, it was for me. In that moment, the anger I had been holding on to melted away, replaced by a peace I hadn't felt in a long time. It was beyond words, is used to describe an experience or emotion so powerful or profound that it cannot be adequately expressed through language.
Monologue 1. It was beyond words when I stood at the edge of the Grand Canyon for the first time. The vastness, the colors, and the sheer beauty of it all left me speechless, reminding me how small we are in comparison to the world's wonders. Monologue 2. It was beyond words when I held my newborn niece in my arms. The purity and innocence in her tiny face stirred emotions I didn't even know I had, and no matter how much I tried, I couldn't find the right words to describe the love I felt in that moment. Monologue 3. It was beyond words when our team finally won the championship after years of falling short. The roar of the crowd, the hugs from teammates, and the overwhelming sense of accomplishment blended into a joy so deep that no words could capture how it felt. Little did I know, is used to express that, at the time, the speaker was unaware of important information or future events that would later become significant. Monologue 1. Little did I know that the stranger I bumped into at the bookstore would become my closest friend. A casual conversation about our favorite authors turned into years of shared memories, proving that sometimes the most meaningful connections start unexpectedly. Monologue 2. Little did I know that choosing to take a different route home that day would change my life. I stumbled upon a cozy little cafe tucked away on a quiet street, and it quickly became my go-to spot for peaceful afternoons and creative inspiration. Monologue 3. Little did I know that saying yes to that one invitation would lead to an incredible adventure. What started as a spontaneous weekend trip turned into one of the most unforgettable experiences, full of laughter, new friendships, and memories I'll cherish forever. It all came together when is used to describe a moment when various elements or efforts finally aligned, resulting in a successful or meaningful outcome. Monologue 1. It all came together when we finally completed our community garden. After months of planning, planting, and overcoming obstacles, seeing the garden flourish with vibrant flowers and fresh vegetables was incredibly satisfying. All the hard work and dedication paid off in a way that exceeded our expectations. Monologue 2. It all came together when our team presented the project to the board. After weeks of late nights and countless revisions, the final presentation was seamless, and the board's enthusiastic approval was the culmination of all our efforts and collaboration.
Definition. There was a sense of is used to describe a particular feeling or atmosphere that was perceptible during a specific moment or situation. Monologue 1. There was a sense of peace as I watched the sun set over the ocean. The rhythmic sound of the waves and the soft hues of the sky created an atmosphere of tranquility, making me feel completely at ease and connected with nature. Monologue 2. There was a sense of excitement in the air during the opening night of the play. The buzz of anticipation among the audience, the vibrant energy of the actors, and the palpable tension before the curtain rose made the entire experience electric. Monologue 3. There was a sense of accomplishment when I completed the marathon. Crossing the finish line, surrounded by cheers and high fives, I felt a deep pride in my achievement and a profound appreciation for the journey it took to get there. From that day forward is used to signify a change or turning point that had a lasting impact on one's life or perspective starting from a specific moment. Monologue 1. From that day forward, everything changed when I moved to the city. The fast pace, the constant buzz, and the endless opportunities transformed my life in ways I never imagined. I found myself embracing new experiences and meeting people from all walks of life. Each day brought a fresh perspective, and I realized that this vibrant city was not just a new home but a catalyst for personal growth and endless possibilities. Monologue 2. From that day forward, when I adopted my rescue dog, my life took on a new meaning. The initial days were challenging as we both adjusted to each other's routines, but soon, the companionship and unconditional love began to fill my days with joy. His playful antics and loyal presence brought a newfound sense of purpose and happiness, turning our home into a place of warmth and love. Monologue 3. From that day forward, after making the decision to pursue my passion for painting full-time, my life was filled with a renewed sense of purpose. The initial uncertainty and fear were replaced with a profound satisfaction as I immersed myself in creativity. Every brushstroke on the canvas became a step toward fulfilling a lifelong dream, and I discovered that dedicating myself to what I love brought an immense sense of fulfillment and joy.
Definition: everything fell into place means that all elements or aspects of a situation finally aligned and began to work harmoniously, often resulting in a successful or satisfying outcome. Monologue 1. Everything fell into place when I finally decided to follow my dream of starting a small business. After months of researching, planning, and struggling with doubts, the pieces began to fit together perfectly. From finding the right location to assembling a dedicated team, every step seemed to align effortlessly, leading to the successful launch of a venture I had always envisioned.